What's up, everyone, and welcome to day number 4, day number 5 of the 12 days of Yu-Gi-Oh! And today, as you see, we got Battlewasp. Now, this is going to be different from my last Battlewasp deck probably, because last time it was more of pure Battlewasp, and Beetroopers weren't even a thing. And so I figured, why not finally, when I update it, include the Beetrooper stuff, which makes this deck a whole lot better. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I run 3 Sting the Poison. Sting the Poison, if it's normal special summon, you can add 1 Battlewasp monster from your deck to your hand. And as a quick effect, distribute 1 other insect monster you control. Target 1 effect monster your opponent controls. Negates effects until the end of the turn. So you can use it for synchro plays, which you really don't in this deck that much. You only run like 1 synchro. It's more so for the link plays. But even just having it stay out on the field is really good, because you can either use it to get more advantage or just have it to negate plays. I also run 3 Pin the Bullseye. Pin, if you control an insect monster, you can spell summon this card from your hand. It's got a small little burn effect to where you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Pin the Bullseye you control, which most oftentimes you're only going to have 1, maybe 2. It's more so the fact that it's an insect monster that can special summon itself to the field, much like Twinbow the Attacker. Twinbow, like Pin, can during your main phase you can special summon this card from your hand. While you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except insect monsters, it's not really much of a downside. It also has a cool effect that I can attack twice during each battle phase. And moving on to the Beetroopers, I run the 3 Scout Buggy. Scout Buggy, if it's normal special summon, you can special summon another Scout Buggy from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So basically, it's if you special summon one of them, it's a free rank 3 or link 2. Also run the 3 Beetrooper Skill Bomber. Bomber, if an insect monster is normal special summon to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. And when a monster your opponent controls activates effects, quick effect, tribute 1 insect monster, destroy it. So you can tribute 1 other insect monster, or you can tribute the Scale Bomber itself. I run 1 Beetrooper Assault Roller. Assault Roller, it's the same reason as Pin. It special summons itself from the hand. Also run 2 Sting Lancer. Sting Lancer, during the main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 insect monster in your graveyard and 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. If you do, place that target monster on the bottom of the deck. So when your opponent wants to activate something from the grave, you can chain Sting Lancer's effect to place on the bottom of the deck to lose target, and then you can summon the Sting Lancer out. And if this card is on a special summon, you can add a Beetrooper spell trap from your deck to your hand. Also run the 1 Heavy Beetrooper Mighty Neptune. Neptune, I run for the same reason as Assault Roller. It can special summon itself from the hand. Although it's a little bit more restrictive, you must special summon it by shuffling 3 of your banished monsters into the banished insect monsters into the main deck. The one downside is that says main deck and not just the deck. So if you have a banished insect link monster, you cannot use that, unfortunately. But you got several ways to get that out anyways. I run the 3 Resonance Insect. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 level 5 or higher insect type monster from your deck to your hand. And if this card is banished, you can send an insect type monster from your deck to your graveyard too. It's a searcher of your Mighty Neptune or any of your other higher level insect monsters. And if you want to run like the insect kaijus or some other level 5 or higher insect monster, you can. And it also forces 1 of your own. Also run the 1 Gokipole. Gokipole, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand. And if you add a normal monster, you can special summon it. But I don't really run any normal monsters, so. I also run the 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring for hand traps, as well as the 3 DD Crow and the 2 Effect Veiler. Moving on to the spells, I run the 1 Beetrooper Formation. Beetrooper Formation, you can target 1 Beetrooper monster graveyard, special summon it, but cannot attack this turn, and you lose life points equal to its original attack. So if you're bringing out one of your higher ones, it's going to be a little bit more costly, but it's usually worth it in the end. I run the 2 Beetrooper Descendant. Basically, you special summon 1 Beetrooper token, and then if you control an insect monster with 3,000 more attack, you can destroy 1 other spell and trap on the field. I also run 1 Monster Born, which is good for extending plays. Same with Foolish Burial. Moving on to the traps, I run 2 Beetrooper Flying Sting. Flying Sting, when your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a Beetrooper monster, you get the activation. If you do, destroy it. And during the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard and you control an insect monster with 2,000 more attack, banish 1 insect monster from graveyard to set this card. The really cool thing with Flying String is it is also a counter trap, so you can only respond to it with spell speed 3 or higher. I also run 3 infinite permanents, just more good hand trap. Moving on to the extra deck. I see a lot of people run 2, but I actually opted to run 3 of the giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. You can get 1 out, I'd say pretty easy. Then the other 2 are more or less for later in the game to just kind of close things out. Invincible Atlas has a really cool effect when it's link summoned. While this card has 3000 or less attack, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects and it cannot be destroyed by a card effect, so it almost has full immunity. And then you contribute 1 insect monster attack to one of these effects. First, special summon 1 Beetrooper monster from your deck, or this card gains 2000 attack until the end of this turn. So you can use it to close things out or extend your own plays. Next, I run 3 Beetrooper Armor Horn. Armor Horn is really cool, and out of all the new Beetrooper stuff, well, not exactly new Beetrooper stuff, but the Beetrooper cards, I definitely think Armor Horn is the best card and most versatile. First, it's an extra summon, and then if it's in your graveyard, you can banish 3 other insect monsters from your graveyard. Spell summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. I also run the 3 Insector Picafalana. Picafalana, when it's link summoned, you can discard 1 card and target 1 other insect monster control. Equip 1 insect monster from your deck to it as an equipped spell. Then you can target 3 insect monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them to the deck to draw 1 card, so it's a little bit like a Pot of Avarice. I also run the 1 Shinobi Insect Hagakumaru Mino. When this card points to a monster opponent, monsters cannot target this card for attacks, and if a monster card points to a destroyed battle or card effect, special summon level 4 lower insect monster from your hand or graveyard. Banish it when it leaves the field. It doesn't really come up too often, but the main reason I run the Shinobi Insect is, let's say in odd situations where you summon a monster that, let's say, is not an insect. You could just use Shinobi to go into an insect, then go into one of the others, because all these require insects. Shinobi Insect does not. So it kind of like bridges things in a way. I also run the 1 Seraphim Papillion. Unfortunately, Papillion does have 1 downside. If this card is link summoned, you can place a counter on it for each insect monster used as its link material. And quick effect, you can remove 1 counter from this card. Spell summon level 1 or level 4 or lower insect monster from your graveyard. Sadly, you can only use 1 of these effects per turn, not both. If it was both, then that would be really awesome. You can just use it to extend plays, but even with it as it is, if you have a Scale Bomber or Sting the Poison in your graveyard, you can just special summon it to use it to negate card effects. I also run the 1 Access Code. This is pretty much the only non-insect monster I run. I run 1 Battlewasp Ballista the Armageddon. This one comes up very rarely, but basically if this card spell summon, you can banish all insect monsters from your graveyard. And monster opponent controls currently lose 500 attack defense for each banished insect monster. So it can help close out games. It also does piercing battle damage, and if it is destroyed by an opponent's card, you spell summon 3 of your banished level 11 or lower insect monsters. And lastly, I run 2 number 3 Cicada King. Cicada King is really good. If the battle position of this card is changed, you can special summon 1 insect monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. And when a monster on the field activates its effects, you detach a card from this card, target it, negate its effects, then you can make 1 monster on the field either gain 500 attack and defense, or 500 defense, or change its battle position. So what you do is you use King's effect to negate, change its battle position, then special summon another insect monster, which you probably usually summon Scale Bomber or Sting the Poison. So that's it for my Beetrooper Battlewasp deck. Let me know what you think of him. Do you think it's a pretty cool deck? Do you think it's definitely got potential? Obviously, it's kind of more of a rogue deck, I think, right now. But I will see you in the next video I make tomorrow, which tomorrow I will be covering Gem Knights. I'm excited for that one. I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you tomorrow then. Bye.